It is a dream debut Dubai title. Elina Svitolina, well, embraces Pegula, and she said to a good match. And
I literally just hit the record button the exact second they shook hands at the net. I haven't even taken a sip of my coffee yet because I just needed to talk to you guys right now, while the Dubai trophy presentation is still happening in the background on my TV. I am sitting here looking at the final match statistics, and I just have to laugh. I really do, because the entire tennis world spent the last 48 hours talking about Elina Svitolina. We spent 2 straight days analyzing her incredible, gritty, emotional win over Coco Gauff in the semifinals. We talked about her resilience, her veteran experience, how she navigated that insane 15-13 tiebreak, and how she was destined to cap off this fairy tale run with the Dubai 2026 title. Everyone was writing the script. The commentators were practically handing her the trophy during the pre-match show. And then Jessica Pegula walked onto center court, politely took that script, folded it up into a tiny little square, and threw it directly into the trash can. Guys, what we just watched wasn't a tennis match. It was a clinic. It was a surgical, cold-blooded, absolutely clinical dissection of a tennis player. Jessica Pegula just won the Dubai Championship 6-2, 6-4, and she made it look like she was hitting practice balls against a wall on a Tuesday afternoon. I am looking at my laptop screen right now, staring at the raw data from this final, and I am just so incredibly impressed by the sheer quiet brilliance of Jessica Pegula. She doesn't scream, she doesn't fist pump after every single point, she doesn't try to hit highlight reel tweeners. She just stands on the baseline, hits the ball incredibly flat, absorbs your pace, and completely suffocates you until you have absolutely no answers left. Let me just walk you through what I'm seeing here, because the contrast between Svitolina's semifinal and this final is honestly staggering. Going into this match, the big question mark was obviously Elina Svitolina's gas tank. She left her absolute soul out on the court against Coco Gauff. You don't play a nearly 3-hour match, survive a 28-point tiebreak, and wake up the next morning feeling totally fresh. But I really thought her adrenaline would carry her through at least the first set today. I thought she would come out firing, trying to keep the points short. But Pegula just refused to let her breathe. Look at the very bottom line of the stat sheet first. This is where the match was instantly decided. Jessica Pegula won 32 receiving points today. Elina Svitolina only won 13. 13 receiving points in an entire championship final. I had to actually blink and reread that number to make sure I wasn't seeing things. Do you know how hard it is to break a top-tier player when you only manage to scrape together 13 points on their serve across 2 full sets? Svitolina was completely locked out of Pegula's service games. She generated exactly 3 breakpoint opportunities for the entire afternoon. She managed to convert one of them, probably on a rare unforced error, but for the vast majority of this match, Pegula was holding serve with total, absolute comfort. Pegula won 35 service points, and she won 8 out of her service games. And why was Pegula holding serve so easily? Because her numbers were just disgustingly efficient. Let me zoom in on this for a second. Pegula landed 69% of her first serves. That is exactly where you want to be. It's high enough to keep the pressure on, but it shows you are still going for your targets. But here is the killer metric. When Pegula landed that first serve, she won 79% of those points, nearly 80%. Svitolina is widely considered one of the most stubborn elite returners of her generation. She makes a living by making you play 1 extra ball, but today, she couldn't even get the rally started when Pegula found the first serve box. Pegula was hitting her spots so cleanly, moving Svitolina off the center mark and immediately taking control of the court geometry. But honestly, the first serve isn't even the stat that is blowing my mind right now. It's the second serve. Guys, look at Jessica Pegula's second serve win percentage, 69%. She won 69% of the points when she was forced to hit her second serve. I really need to pause and emphasize how ridiculous that is in a WTA 1000 final. The second serve is usually a liability. It's the moment the returner steps inside the baseline and tries to rip a winner down the line. To win nearly 70% of your second serves means your baseline game is practically bulletproof. It means Pegula wasn't even slightly worried about faulting. She was probably just rolling the second serve in, completely confident that the second the ball bounced, she was going to out-rally Svitolina anyway. And she did. She completely out-rallied her. Contrast Pegula's 69% with Svitolina's second serve win rate. Svitolina only won 41% of her second serve points. 41% is a massive, gaping wound in a tennis match. It means every single time Svitolina missed a first serve, the statistics dictated that she was probably going to lose the point. Pegula was stepping up, taking that ball early because she takes the ball earlier than almost anyone else on tour, and hitting it incredibly flat, skidding it through the Dubai hardcourt. Svitolina was constantly reaching, constantly defending off her back foot, and you could just see the physical toll it was taking on her. Svitolina hit 5 double faults today. 5 double faults in a straight sets match tells you a story of a player who is desperate. She knew Pegula was going to crush her standard second serve, so she tried to push the envelope. She tried to hit it a little closer to the line, a little deeper in the box, and her fatigued legs just wouldn't let her execute the mechanics. You know, it is really fascinating to watch a player's mental state unravel through the numbers. Look at the breakpoint differential. I mentioned earlier that Svitolina only saw 3 breakpoints. Now look at Pegula. Pegula generated 11 breakpoint opportunities. 11. In a match that only went 16 total games. That means in almost every single one of Svitolina's service games, Pegula was knocking on the door. She was constantly creating 30-40 situations, deuce situations, putting this unrelenting, suffocating pressure on Svitolina's shoulders. Pegula converted 4 of those 11 chances, which was more than enough to comfortably secure the 6-2, 6-4 victory. It's the feeling of drowning. Svitolina would hold serve, but she would have to fight off 3 breakpoints to do it, burning precious energy, and then she would turn around and watch Pegula hold serve at love in 60 seconds. It just breaks your will to fight. And if you want to know exactly when Svitolina's will broke, look no further than the maximum consecutive points statistic. This is the stuff that coaches circle in red ink after a match. Jessica Pegula at one point in this final rattled off 10 consecutive points. 10. Do you have any idea what it feels like to be on the receiving end of a 10-point run? That is 2.5 entire games where you do not register a single mark on the scoreboard. You are just walking back and forth between the deuce court and the ad court, picking up balls, wiping your face with a towel, completely lost. 10 consecutive points means the opponent is reading your mind. They know where you are going to serve before you toss it. They know you are going to hit cross court before you even plant your feet. Svitolina's maximum consecutive points won was only 4. She could never put together a sustained run. She could never generate any real momentum. The moment she hit a good winner and tried to pump herself up, Pegula would just coldly hit a flat backhand winner down the line on the very next point and shut the crowd right back up. Pegula's maximum consecutive games won was 3, while Svitolina never managed to win more than 1 game in a row. Think about that. Svitolina could never consolidate. She could never string together a hold and a break. It was just a constant uphill battle on a mountain of loose gravel. When you tally it all up, the final point differential is honestly a bit shocking for a championship match. Jessica Pegula won 67 total points. Elina Svitolina won 47, a 20-point gap. In a 2-set match, a 20-point differential isn't just a win, it is a profound statement of superiority. It means Pegula was better on the serve, she was vastly better on the return, she was better in the short rallies, and she was better in the long, drawn-out baseline exchanges. I feel like we really need to have a conversation about the disrespect that Jessica Pegula sometimes gets from the casual tennis fanbase. I see the comments all the time. People say her game is boring. People say she lacks flair. People complain that she doesn't have a massive looping forehand like Swiatek or a 120-mile-per-hour serve like Sabalenka. But if you actually understand the geometry and the physics of tennis, watching Pegula play is an absolute masterclass in efficiency. She has the cleanest ball striking on the tour. She hits the ball so incredibly flat and deep that it completely robs her opponents of time. You saw it today against Svitolina. Svitolina likes to loop the ball, she likes to use heavy topspin to push her opponent back and buy herself time to recover to the center of the court. But Pegula's flat ground strokes don't bounce high enough for Svitolina to get under them. They skid, they stay low to the hard court. So Svitolina was constantly having to dig the ball out from around her ankles, which requires incredible quad strength, and as we already established, her legs were completely gone after the Coco Gauff match. Pegula's tactical game plan was absolute perfection. She knew exactly what to do, and she executed it without a single drop of unnecessary emotion. And let's talk about what this means for Pegula's legacy. Winning a WTA 1000 event in Dubai is a massive accomplishment. It validates all the hard work, all the consistency, for a player who has consistently lingered in the top 5, reaching quarterfinals and semifinals, but sometimes struggling to grab the biggest trophies. Stepping onto the court in a final and delivering a 6-2, 6-4 beatdown is a huge psychological milestone. She didn't let the pressure get to her. She didn't tighten up when she was serving for the championship. She just treated it like another day at the office. She only hit 2 double faults the entire match, 3 aces. Just clean, measured, incredibly smart tennis. I honestly feel a bit bad for Svitolina. I know how badly the crowd wanted her to complete the Cinderella story. The stadium was definitely pulling for her, especially after the dramatic run she had. But tennis doesn't care about storylines. The tennis ball doesn't know who the crowd favorite is. It only responds to physics. And today, Jessica Pegula's racket was delivering the perfect mathematical equations. Svitolina can leave Dubai with her head held incredibly high. Beating Coco Gauff was a massive achievement, and reaching this final is proof that she is still an absolute force to be reckoned with on the WTA Tour. But today, the gas tank was completely empty, and she ran into a player who operates like a machine. I am so curious to hear what you guys think about this match. Are you surprised by how completely one-sided the stat sheet is? Were you expecting Svitolina to put up more of a fight, or did you see this fatigue coming from a mile away after the semifinals? And more importantly, I really want to know your thoughts on Jessica Pegula. Do you think she finally gets the respect she deserves as an elite champion, or do you think her playing style will always fly under the radar of the mainstream media? How far do you think this Dubai title can propel her for the rest of the 2026 season? I am going to be hanging out in the comments section for the next few hours, reading your takes and debating the stats. I love hearing your perspectives, especially when we get matches that completely defy the pre-match narratives like this one did. If you made it this far into the breakdown, you are a true tennis nerd, and I absolutely appreciate you. Make sure you gently tap that like button. Don't smash it. We like clean, efficient strikes here, just like Jess Pegula. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. We are going to be tracking the entire 2026 season, diving deep into the raw data and analyzing the matches you actually care about. I'm going to finally go drink this coffee, maybe rewatch that 10-point streak from Pegula just to appreciate the footwork, and I will see all of you in the very next video.